What's up, guys, and welcome to another Good Morning Meeting. Today, we are here with Noah Toly, a man that has many accolades, but is so much more than his accolades. Today, we are going to be talking about how everything matters. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. So, Noah, dude, I know that you are a man of depth. You have so much to you, and obviously pest control can be something you do, but you found a way to make it so much bigger than that. So let's just dive into it.
Yeah, I think there is mediums to like everything that we do. Um and that includes like work, and that includes like relationships, and that includes the sports we play, the things we do, and everything can be viewed as a medium. And pest control is one of those things that like no one actually likes. Like no one is going to bed thinking I'm the pest control bug guy or I'm even the door-to-door guy. And so I love finding meaning and in everything and anything. And you can find meaning in anything. It's just the story that you tell yourself and the story that you create. And I've been able to like create a really powerful story with everything that I do. And that's why everything really matters at the end of the day.
Well, let's dive into that because I think what's super common for sales reps is it's hard to buy into this idea of like, dude, I'm going out, I'm selling pest control. I hear this all the time, like, dude, I don't care about pest control, I don't believe in it. But it sounds like you have found a way to find depth. So walk us through the process of how have you turned something that can be very stale as
Yes.
pest control door to door rep and turn it into something that actually means something to you.
Yeah. When our external performance does not match our internal experience, we experience a universal feeling, and that's feeling hollow. And when you feel hollow, you actually have a death of authenticity. And so I personally can't do anything. And this is where like it can also be a pro and a con, but I think it's more of a pro, but I can't really do anything unless it aligns with who I am and what I want to do and accomplish. And if I do something and it's not aligned with the feelings and the motives and kind of the vibes of my heart and soul, I have a hard time doing it. And so I remember sitting like one day and I think we all resonate with the story of sports. For example, growing up, as a kid, I felt like I was actually like completely overlooked in the sports that I played. And I really cared about sports. Not because sports is inherently, the most important thing, but I loved feeling and chasing greatness. And so when sports kind of closed for me, and those dreams that I had as a kid to be a pro soccer player and to play Div 1 basketball, all those dreams that I had as a kid kind of died. And so when I found door to door, I was able to shift those childlike dreams and passions and goals, and I just shifted them to door. And so
Cool.
it wasn't door to door that was inherently special or important, nor was it pest control, but I just used door to door as a medium to chase that same feeling that I had as a kid. And then once you are aligned with your soul, you do things in an authentic manner, and authenticity really matters. It really does.
Cool. Well, dude, you probably see this all the time. You probably see people doing the job at the expense of their authenticity. What would be
Yes.
your message for those guys? Because to be clear, I think it's super hard. I mean, this
Yes.
job is extremely taxing, both
Yes.
physically, emotionally, mentally. It's weird, right? Like if you just look
Yes.
at it from like an objective, like we are knocking doors,
Yes.
trying to sell someone pest control. And obviously it sounds like you've found a way to take kind of like your past experiences, your childhood, that desire and that craving for winning and translated that into door to door, where it wasn't about door to door, but it was about winning and chasing greatness and being the best
Yeah.
version of yourself. So I guess what would be your message to those kids right now that are on the doors and they are having that battle of trying to find that level of authenticity while doing a really kind of
Hard
weird
thing.
and hard job?
Extremely hard job, and I don't wanna undermine how hard the job is. Um, I would say to those reps to find a reason for what you're doing, and if your reason is just money, re-find your reason, because money only takes you so far, and especially people that buy into a bigger vision than just money usually they end up having more money than the guys that didn't buy in.
Mm.
And so whatever you can do, whether it's sitting one night in your hotel journaling, finding a reason for doing your goal, it really matters. Because this thing like actually matters. The way we do anything is the way we do everything. I remember as a kid, like I was so enamored by people that were great. And it wasn't just sports guys. I was enamored by janitors that cared deeply about what they did. Like, I remember, like, there was a specific janitor in my elementary school, and there was something about him, he cared about what he did, and it was like, that is so cool when people are, like, caring about what they do. Like, it is cool to care, like, and I don't care what anyone says, we live in this, like, world and state right now where nonchalantness and, like, acting like you don't care is all of a sudden, like, cool. It's like not. It's not cool. Like, it's not cool, and that's the world we live in right now, and so, the people that do the greatest things in life are the ones that care deeply about what they do, and I stand on that till I die.
10 toes down.
No one that's ever changed the world has been nonchalant. I'm sorry.
I love that. Well, dude, it makes me think of two separate stories. So the first one is Gordon B. Hinckley. Shout out President Hinks.
Great pull.
He talked
Phenomenal pull.
he talked about if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the greatest street sweeper that ever lived. And I remember thinking about that early in my door-to-door career about like, well, if I'm going to do pest control, why would I not try to be the best at it ever? And it's not about like selling, it's about being the best version of that and caring. And if it's, and the second story it makes me think about is my dad. So my dad, Gary, he's a plumber. And I remember as a kid, just, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, Dad, and I remember like literally asking him this. I'm like, do you like working with like poop all day? Like, probably a dumb question for a son to ask. But I'm like, I just don't really get it. Like, why plumbing? And he said something really interesting. He's like, Parker, he's like, I don't really think I started out like loving plumbing.
Mhm.
But he's like, what I did love is I loved working with my hands. And I knew that was something I wanted to do. So the medium I chose was plumbing. Now he goes, I love it because I'm great at it. He goes, when you put 10,000 hours into anything, whether it's being a plumber or a door-to-door sales rep or anything else, he goes, when you get great at anything,
Mhm.
you will love it. And I think that carries. I see the way my dad runs his business. I see the way people resonate with him. And so I think to that same thing, so many reps are afraid to go all in on door-to-door. Even if it's like, let's say you're only doing it through college. Dude, it's okay to go be the best version of a door-to-door rep just for those 2 years. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if you operate that way, imagine what you're going to do in any other endeavor or anything else that you do in the future.
That
So
was
Noah,
really well put, yeah.
thank
That's
you.
very true. Very eloquent.
But dude, I think that again, let's dive into some specifics because I
Yeah.
want reps listening to this to not just be like, oh, dude, because I feel like people can feel your authenticity. They
Yeah.
can feel that you are different, that you
Yeah.
operate at a different frequency.
Mhm.
But I think sometimes what we have to bridge is the gap. So one of the things you said is like, hey, if you're a door-to-door rep and you're struggling to find your why, to find deeper meaning, one of the things that you said was journaling. If I'm a rep listening to this, let's dive in. Like what I grab my journal, what am I writing? What am
Yeah.
I thinking about? How can I use journaling as a way to find deeper meaning and find a deeper why?
There's, 2 questions that I would ask myself, and these are 2 questions that Brock Grieve mentioned in a meeting that I love, and one of the questions is, "Do I live an inspiring life?" And so, that's one question that I love thinking about, and honestly, I've thought about that question all the time. I just wanna live an inspiring life, but do I? And sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror and like, am I like an inspiring guy? And the second question that I would ask yourself is, am I someone that I would want to follow?
Hmm.
Another question that I would pose that is the same question as that is if this is really deep, but if I was a god, would I want to be subject to me as a god? And it's like, am I living the life that I actually want to live? And how do I live the life if I'm not, right? And then it's like you can answer those questions, but finding deep meaning in anything is where you need to do deep reflection. And Steve Jobs talks about this. He's like, the only way to do great work is by doing what you love. And guess what? No one loves knocking doors and no one loves pest control. However, you can find a medium to where you do find love in what you do. No matter what it is, plumbing, your dad doesn't actually necessarily love plumbing, but he found a medium to grow it into a love and now he's successful. right? And so that's what you do with pest control. If it was just find everything you love, I would be into sneakers for the rest of my life. But it's like there's so many things I love. I'm just a master at getting a medium for everything that I do. And I just found a medium for pest control and door to door.
Well,
If
and
that
what's
makes
interesting
sense.
is using like a different vernacular. It sounds like so many people think about pest control like almost it's like the destination. Like, well, if I don't love it, if that's not what I want to do
No,
forever,
no,
then
no.
I can't do it. Where it's
No,
like
no, no, no.
it's not the destination, it's just a vehicle. So
Yes.
what can you use pest control as? What kind of vehicle can it be for you? And for example, for me, my first year in door to door, my goal was probably, it sounds kind of sad to say, but I had never finished anything. Like I would want to be a pro skater and then I'd want to be a pro lacrosse player and then I want to be a pro
Just that
snowboarder and then I wanted to be a
ADHD
lawyer.
brain just going
Just
crazy.
wanted to be
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
And I remember my first year in door to door, I had one goal and it was to finish. So what did I find meaning in? It wasn't knocking doors. It wasn't getting my teeth kicked in by homeowners and Karens.
Yeah,
It was that, hey, I'm going to prove to myself that I'm a finisher.
yeah.
And the feeling that I got after that first summer of the accomplishment of finishing was one of the most electric feelings I've ever felt. And it was a catalyst for me to keep going. And then each year, now that you're talking about it, I found different meanings. The second year was like, okay, like I want to go become financially stable. I've literally dreamed about buying a boat my whole life.
Yeah.
Like literally, I have
Yeah, yeah.
excerpts from when I was in kindergarten that said,
I've heard this.
what do you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to be when you grow up? And it literally says, I want to be a boat owner. That's how big I could dream. And so was it the pest control that was meaningful or was it the journey that I was on to go be a boat owner? Right. So I think for anyone listening, I love what Noah just said. If you are having a hard time figuring out your why, going deeper, pull out a journal, answer those 3 questions. And you might be scared of the answers. It might be like, yeah, I'm not living an inspiring life. I wouldn't follow me. And if that's the case, maybe ask yourself the question, what changes do I need to make today? And I believe there's another quote by another apostle, shout out.
This is
Can't remember which
great.
one this is, but he talks about, it's Elder Uchtdorf, and he talks about if a plane is off, like a flying plane, if
Uh-huh.
it's off by 1 degree, at the end of like a long flight, it'll be like 1,000 miles off course.
Yeah,
And I think what that speaks to is like maybe when you answer those questions, you're just 1 degree off.
yeah,
Sometimes making tiny little changes that would say, hey, if I did this, if I just woke up early every day, I'd be a little more inspiring, can get you back on track.
yeah. I love that. I just love people that care. I just like anytime I meet someone that cares, they could collect socks. And you know when you talk to someone and they mention a topic and you can see a light like flicker in their eye.
Yep.
That's the people when they start talking about these things. I love learning about that because the energy all of a sudden shifts when they start talking about that. So what if the way we talked about those things and that energy shift was actually with everything that we do? So that shift, that twinkle in your eye, if you could have that twinkle in your eye with everything that you do, whoa. Like then you're living a life that's like money is so fake. I'm just gonna say it. Like it is the fakest thing. And if we created money, why don't we create more money? So it's like money is just fake. So money is great because it leads to things like boats, but that's a deeper connection, right? You have a deeper connection. So I don't know. There's so many like in my opinion, like I am the richest guy I know, and I'm not even close financially to the richest guy. Nowhere close. But I am the richest guy I know because I do things with meaning and it serves me as a person. And it's dope. Like I know you guys like people listening in the car right now are probably like, dude, we're selling pest control, but once again, you will get better results on the doors if you find meaning with what you're doing. But no meaning, come June and July, see ya.
Smoke City.
Good night. Good night, everyone. It's
Bye
no
bye,
longer a good
birdie.
morning podcast. It's a good night. You're gone. Like, you know? So
Well, dude, so let's dive into a couple more things. Again, so one of these reps, they're listening to this.
Yeah.
Okay, they're starting to get an idea. They pull out a journal, they write some stuff. What's like something else that someone can do to find more meaning in their life? Because clearly you've spent a lot of time
yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
And I just want to give the listeners a tangible,
Yeah.
things they can say, hey, okay, if I go
Mhm.
do this, I can at least start the journey. Journaling's one. Give
Yeah.
us a couple other things and let's dive into them.
Yeah, so journaling's a great way to find meaning and to write out your thoughts because when you write them out, it's right in front of you. Other ways is honestly connecting with your younger self, and your
Mm.
younger self is ultimately the dreamer. Your younger self is ultimately who you are, and so finding a way to disconnect from the door to door title to just who you are and being you. I know that's not tangible, but that can be thrown into the journaling. I think in the night times and in the mornings, this sounds crazy. This is insane. In the morning, go on a walk.
Mm.
Like, actually, like, all these gym bros in the door-to-door space are, like, trying to, and it's chill, but, like, go on a walk in the morning and just, like, think for 10 minutes about your day and how you can make it meaningful and special. And so that's another thing. A third thing, a
Well,
thir
before you jump to the third thing, I just want to jump into this
these are
walk.
just random little
Yeah,
practical things you
because
can
again,
do.
I think this is so applicable. I think that in door to door, there's so much chaos, right?
Yes.
Like you're stressed and you're overwhelmed. And I think I actually have noticed, I did 75 hard a couple years ago. And I remember one of my outdoor workouts was always a walk. And what I found in walking was it's this time where I can reconnect with myself, where my thoughts aren't going so fast, where I can process and think. And it sounds like you've done that, like amongst the chaos of door to door at the morning and the night, you do a walk. Is there anything you do in that walk to help it be more meaningful? Like, are you leaving your phone? Are you thinking about anything? Or is it just kind of like a no expectations, just go on a walk
I've
morning and night?
started doing this recently, and it's something I'm gonna apply this summer. Is really, yeah, I've found that just walking in nature and just being outside and just, like, not having an agenda to what you're doing actually, like, really provides clarity. And it's funny because it's crazy. Like, these are all crazy things. Like, the happiest countries in the world and, like, the happiness index that they do, and they rank countries on happiness. A common theme in the happiness within countries is they go on a lot of walks.
Mm.
Like, it's weird, and it's just like,
So you're saying if you want to be happy in door to door, which
I
is
know, it's not gonna fix anything,
which is
yeah.
a
It's just
historically toxic industry, that
yeah.
dude, maybe there's actually something
And
as simple as
there's a
going on a walk.
there's a principle to it where it's not just the walk, it's taking time to separate from the chaos of Instagram. That's another thing. So here's another practical one. Get off Instagram. Get off all the, like, all the reels of other reps at other companies and their statistics. You don't need that. That's not gonna serve you. We even had a call last summer where I was like, "Bro, I'm like one of the best." I'm not getting posted because I'm Canadian, but I'm like one of the best, bro. And I'm seeing these guys that are rookies that are apparently selling more. And you're like, dude, just wait until it all unfolds. And I don't know if you remember the
I do
guy.
remember I was on the bike huffing and puffing while we were
Yeah,
talking.
and it all unfolded, and it all ended up, from what I know, being just not even real.
Correct.
And so finding ways to connect with actual truths, and the truth is everything on social media is fake.
Except for my social media, I'm just kidding.
Those are that's the social media that's uplifting. Your social media is actually real. You're not, like, faking anything, but
But even to that point, dude, it's so funny because someone told me this one time that you're comparing your worst to someone else's highlight reel. Even my Instagram, right? Like I'm only posting the good stuff, right? And so you don't see all the trials, you don't see all the tears, the frustration. So even
yeah.
mine, although I'm striving to have an authentic Instagram, dude, it makes my life look like it totally is different than it is. So
Yeah.
it makes me think of something else, and I want to also throw a tip in there for reps that are trying to find meaning. So there's something, you can look this up on Wikipedia. It's called confirmation bias. What confirmation bias is, it's your brain's tendency to look for, seek out, and interpret information that supports one's prior beliefs.
Yes.
So what does that mean, right? Whatever you believe through things you think about and say often, your brain at a subconscious level is going to go try and find stuff that supports that and also forget things that doesn't support it. So if you are constantly thinking about the negative of this job, you're going to start to create a belief system that this job
Crazy.
sucks.
Everything
And
you're
so
talking
what's your
about.
brain going to do at a subconscious level? It's looking for everything that affirms that belief that, like, yep, this job sucks. You can have 10 things happen in the day that are like amazing, life-changing things, but if it doesn't support your belief system, you're going to forget them. And then you can have one negative thing happen and it's like, yep, that supports our belief system. So here's something super tangible that someone taught me, that fear and frustration and anxiety can't coexist with gratitude. So I tried to change my confirmation bias by going throughout my day and just constantly writing down
I was
things
about
that
to
made
say
me
that, yeah.
happy, things that I was grateful for. Like, oh, that lady was super nice to me. Oh, this neighborhood has really pretty, houses. Oh, dude,
It's just the gnarliest neighborhood, and you're just
yeah.
like, "That tree is so."
But
It's like, it
genuinely, like,
works.
it takes a lot of work at the beginning, especially because I think most of us are inherently negative people. We seek
Yes.
out negative. But if you are going through through a door-to-door summer, I'm telling you, challenge yourself to pull out a notes tab on your phone and write down every single thing that you're grateful for. In the morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. At night, write down 5 experiences that like fired you up and that were cool. And they could be simple. Maybe you're sweating bullets and all of a sudden a breeze came and it just felt so good.
Or that segue right after you sell someone,
Oh, and again,
the air blowing underneath
your
your polo.
brain
Yep.
will start to focus on those and you will start to enjoy the job more. You'll start to, again, use confirmation bias. It's either going for you or against you.
Mhm.
What if your brain all day, without you even knowing it, was seeking out information that said, this job is amazing. I love it. It's great.
Yep.
And I'll tell you one story just to couple that to kind of drive the point home. So
And then I have one more thing too.
I love it.
Yeah.
So my wife, I remember our first year selling together, and I would get home, and what's the first thing I wanted to tell my wife? All the negative experiences from the day.
Mhm.
And I realized it was so draining on her. And
Yes.
so me and my wife played this game. It's so funny. She'd say, hey, Parker, you get 5 minutes
Yes.
to tell me anything you want about the day. But then we got to move on and we just got to talk about happy things. And it changed my brain chemistry because instead of getting home and wanting to like
Hallelujah.
wallow in my self pity, it was like I was actually trying to find all the fun and positive things throughout the day. And dude, I will tell you, that's one of the happiest summers I had.
Yep. Everything we're speaking, it's crazy because guys might listen to this and go, "Bro, it's the sauce, bro. We got multiple golden doors on this podcast. Where is their sauce with their pitch?" This is the sauce of life. It's not the sauce of door to door. When you apply the sauce of life into door to door, it's crazy. The two things that I would say, and these are two practical things as well, is the language we speak
Mm.
really matters. And
You
which
know
is
I love
exactly
that.
what you just said, right? So the language I speak in the summer is so like I am so cautious about what I say out loud to reps, to myself. You won't ever hear me in the summer. I'm like very obsessive about it. You won't ever hear me say in the summer, dude, I just suck today. Never.
What's something you could say instead?
Today was hard and I'm going to be better tomorrow.
Love it.
You can acknowledge it without being fake. And so I think the language
really quick. Acknowledge it without being fake. That is a bar. It's not about pretending that the day wasn't hard.
No. It is a hard ass job. I have been in the mud so many times in the job, and I have had to have the discipline to speak in language that's real but not negative. And the way we speak creates frequency and vibrations. And if you're not living in a good vibrational state, say goodbye to sales. Sales is a transaction of energy. So the last thing I'll say is this: exposure. I talked about this last night, and at my Grit and Grace speaking. Exposure response therapy is a therapy. It's not really therapy; it's life. But too many people are running away from the things that cause them anxiety, that give them a little bit of fear, that they're uncomfortable with. So in the door-to-door space, what are those things? Sitting in your car too long. When you sit in your car too long, you are teaching your brain that it is a threat to go outside. So the longer you stay in your car, like you said, you're creating a mental pathway that actually builds into a habitual thought pattern. So what you need to do is when you find something in the door-to-door space that's uncomfortable or causes you anxiety, you need to go do it now. So if you see a Karen and you're scared to talk to Karens, you go straight to the Karen and you start talking to her. If you're afraid and you kind of willy-dally, you get out of your car, go on your iPad, act like you're really, you know how it is. You get out of the car, you go to by the pool, look at your area, even though you've been looking at your area for the 20-minute ride out to area, and somehow you're rationalizing standing at the pole. I get out of my car, straight to the doors. Because I know if I don't, I'm going to create wrong pathways. So this is like, that's a practical thing that you can do, like you were asking me. Expose yourself to the things that scare you the most. And as you do that, you create new like pathways. It's crazy.
Dude,
It's just life. It's
so funny that you bring that up because it makes me think like sometimes, and the way that I've like done what you just said is I'm a big believer in timers. And I know this sounds weird, but like
yeah, we've talked
I
about this.
always struggled with knocking late. And I remember, again, sometimes it's like, okay, I could just go to my car, I can knock, but I would set a timer and say, Parker, can you knock for 10 more minutes? And being able to push myself for just 10 more minutes created that other pathway where it's like, oh, Parker, you can do this. Or, hey, I want to go sit in my car. I'm so tired. I'm having a bad day. Sometimes I do actually need a break. So I'll be like, okay, you can take a break, but I'm setting a timer for 5 minutes. And after that 5-minute timer goes off, no matter how you feel, you're getting out.
Go.
And timers have been this little accountability partner for me that, again, oftentimes if I'm having a hard time, again, like knocking late, just set the timer and say, look, I'm going to push myself to go 5 minutes past comfort.
Yeah.
But guess what happens? You do that enough. Let's say 9 was your comfort level. Eventually, 905 becomes your comfort level, then 910. And so you
Yep.
can actually push yourself little by little. And it makes me think of another quote that I love. And it's, we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. Door-to-door reps suffer so much in their mind because they create these stories that don't serve them. For example, they're not knocking on the Karen's door because of some story they played in their mind. Oh, I'm not knocking on their door because she looks mean and she's going to yell at me. Or there's a guy with a big diesel truck that's tattooed and big and buff, and you're like, oh, he's going to yell at me, so I'm not talking to him. I always try to force myself when I start to create those stories. This thing I say to myself is, Parker, live in reality. If you go knock on the door and that guy's a dick, cool. I'm living in reality. He was actually mean, versus me creating this story or this false sense of belief. It's the same thing with no soliciting signs. How many times do we let a no soliciting sign say no for us?
Yep.
And I'm always afraid to knock it. And I go, Parker, live in reality. If you go knock on the door and they freak out you lived in reality. Like, they actually freaked out at you.
Yep.
Or someone, hey, I'm going to call the cops. And then you're knocking your neighborhood all scared for the next 3 hours when it's like, I'm going to live in reality. If the cops come, then I can worry.
Yep.
Right? And to be clear, I'm not advocating to get the cops called on you at all.
No.
But all I'm saying is, I think door-to-door reps, and maybe I say that because that's just the industry I'm in, but I feel like we are closet storytellers in a negative way. I'm not knocking on that door because he's mowing his lawn and he's pissed. I'm not knocking on that door because that person...
They got gnomes in their yard, bro.
Gnomes.
They got gnomes in the garden.
That person is carrying groceries, so they're too busy. When the funny thing is, if you force yourself, so this would be the tangible takeaway, force yourself to live in reality.
Yes.
If you go knock on the door and they tell you they're too busy, at least it was the truth. But what you will find is that, I swear, 7 or 8 times out of 10, the person who, the big tattooed scary guy, is the nicest sweetheart in the world who gets you 5 other sales. The Karen is actually super sweet. The person who's too busy offers you water. But here's the thing with that. You have to be willing as well to, if you're going to live in reality, there is a 50-50 chance. There is a chance that the guy that looks big and scary is actually mean and a jerk, and that's okay. If you live in reality, you will live a more authentic life. Your summer will be more fruitful. And I promise you, when I started living in reality, I started selling substantially a lot more people. Because again, when you don't knock on the door for whatever reason, the story you tell yourself, who says no? You or them? You actually said no for them.
Yep. It's fact. I mean, this is not like a theory philosophical podcast. This is like truth. And like, this truth will actually help you sell more pest control accounts. And so it's like, if you lean into what like Parker and I are saying, you will sell more pest control accounts, which is what you're doing in the summers. You want to sell more pest control accounts.
And you'll be more fulfilled and
you
happier
will
in the
feel
process.
way better about what you're doing and how you're doing it. 50% of what we do is live through habits. And if you can create these habits by doing exposure, by journaling, creating self-compassion, all of these little things that may not seem to matter, like, I can just like promise they do. And the byproduct is more money. The byproduct is higher results. The byproduct is fulfillment. The byproduct is being rich. The byproduct is having more friends. The byproduct is having a better culture, creation. You have so many byproducts that come from when you just follow the actual truth of life. And this stuff, it's the truth. The laws of life. That's what I call them.
I love it, guys. Hopefully this has been super fruitful. I think we've talked about a ton, had a lot of takeaways, and again, we're not here to like shape your journey.
No.
We're just here to give you some maybe starting points to help you find that journey of authenticity, of enjoying yourself. And like we started, right? Everything matters. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you can find a way to have meaning in what you do in pest control, you're going to have meaning in everything else that you do. So guys, thank you. Can't wait for you to come to our next episode. Noah, for those that want to maybe find you, maybe they're vibing with you. They're like, I like this guy. I want to work with him. How can they find you?
Yeah. Noah Toly. That's the Instagram. Noah.Toly. I have a Grit and Grace platform that I'm opening to the whole industry where anyone can reach out to me and they need help with the summer and their goals, and especially with mental challenges, which we all have. You can hit me up. I'll even drop my phone number, which is crazy of me, but 801-500-3363. Type that in, baby.
Write that down. Write that down, Carly.
Write that down.
So, all right, guys, thanks again for another episode of Good Morning Meeting.